So, I just finished off a Watch Dogs Legion demo slash free trial thing Ubisoft put out. Now, I kind of figured that since they're letting you actually play the thing, they've probably got it in a decent enough state that it's, you know, at least worth giving a shot, and my overall impressions weren't half bad. But I figure I've got some interesting little pointers, I guess, on what they seem to be doing. Now, I've always quite liked the Watch Dogs series. When that first trailer hit, I just thought people are getting way overhyped on this. Like, what is so interesting about it? It's just GTA with some hacking gimmicks. But then again, like, GTA with some hacking gimmicks is something I'm fine with. So, I left it, I didn't buy it, I didn't get disappointed. I felt everyone who was kind of deserved it. Like, I don't know, maybe that's going a bit far, but it wasn't like some massive disaster. It was a perfectly playable, like, GTA clone with hacking gimmicks, which was what I was promised. All Ubisoft's trailers are full of bullshit, including the ones for games people generally like, so I wasn't at all shocked. But let's talk about the bad first, because I figure that's what people want to hear. Yeah, yeah, it's sort of a bit of a mess, which is very Ubisoft. Ubisoft are sort of known for being somewhat of a kitchen sink approach, and this really shows off here. Like, it's just sort of amusing, like the whole random generated mission, a Radiant quest style system they've put in here to sort of give the city a, I guess, a sense of life, like everything's bouncing off it, actually just leads to some very repetitive quests. Like, I've had about 3 people who've had their friend, like, take out a loan to get emergency services because their NHS is not being that well run, and they're like, we took out a loan from some gangsters and now now we're addicted. And it's like I had 3 different people give me the same fucking quest, just go to different buildings. And it's a mess when you run into these people. Like, I do a mission and I unlock like a football hooligan class character, and the football hooligan class character is like a sort of black old lady, and she has a middle class kind of British posh accent. And yeah, and then I'm running around with her, and I see a guy whose character class is assassin, and I'm like, I want to go recruit him, so I run up to recruit him. And then he says that he's upset because he was like a blue collar worker who was laid off because of AI, and he wants me to go smash this AI thing to recruit him. And I'm like, I thought his job was an assassin. It's obvious they've just kind of mumbled up random quests and random accents and random designs, and it seems like, my guess is they probably put some chance thing on there where you're more likely to get sort of matches which make sense, but it gives the whole world a very goofy tone. And I'm like using my black middle-aged old lady to call in a squad of football hooligans to beat people up. Similarly, it sort of clashes with when the story is actually good, because I'm actually liking what I've played so far for actual main plot. Like, it's way more in line with the first game than the second, and controversial view, I think that's a fucking good thing. I'm a bit tired of everything going for comedic, sort of don't take this serious style all the time. So yeah, I like that the actual main story itself is actually pretty nasty and gritty. It feels more Saints Row 2 to Watch Dogs 1's Saints Row 1, I guess that's how I'd say it. It's more over the top, but still, like, nasty, versus 2, which was just sort of, like, so fluffy. It didn't really feel like it mattered. It felt weird when you got the one storyline in Watch Dogs 2 where they actually kill off a character you're meant to like, versus Legion, which is sort of starts with like you know, you're jumping in and you're getting like weird sci-fi body horror missions, and then bits where it's like, oh, it's imported immigrant sex workers who have a chip in their heads which kills them when they disobey, and then they're chopped up. It's, yeah, it gets into some dark stuff. I doubt there's any particularly clever political stuff here. It's sort of a mess of themes. It's, yeah, I get, like everything Ubisoft, I get the impression it was written by a bunch of different people, all in different rooms. Apparently, Yahtzee did a lot of the punch-ups to the humour, which is generally just distracting and annoying. Like, one thing I will say is I ended up kind of liking some of my randomly created, you know, playable goons. Like, sometimes I get like a guy in an Irish accent who's like a gangster and has a shot, and I'm like, I quite like him. It's gonna suck when he dies and I get my AI buddy with punch-ups written by Yahtzee making some sort of generic, boring comedy quip. I'm like, yeah, it's, so there we go. That's sort of my negatives out the way. But yeah, a lot of the Radiant AI quest stuff is just generic filler bullshit. Run into this building, kill this guy, hack this thing. The main missions are better. So let's talk about what I actually liked. Watch Dogs 2 had a problem where you basically made your character horribly overpowered pretty quickly in. Now, I remember a lot of people go, well, what they should do is just force you into a specific class, which is a shitty idea. I fucking hate class systems, and they need to stay the fucking inferior genres like RPGs, if you ask me. Just a quick edit I'm making here. I said fucking restrictive class systems. Don't scream at me about stuff like Dragon's Dogma, which lets you switch. I'm talking about stuff like Mass Effect 2. Watch Dogs always felt like this weird attempt to merge the immersive sim and the sort of open world sandbox, and immersive sims also have that same sort of problem as the RPG. They're just kind of better at handling it, where you kind of you end up kind of building a character which is good at one thing and then just doing it over and over. I think Watchdog Legion's solution to this is just to lower the amount of like stat building, so while you still can buy additional perks, a lot of stuff is just going to come down to the character you're playing. Where it goes a little wrong is some classes are so much better than others. The builder class is a really easy one to get, and he has instant access to like a drone which can fly him anywhere, which sort of makes a bunch of the stuff in the game actually completely irrelevant, because you can just fly over somewhere and drop down spider bots. Pretty much everyone can get a spider bot. It feels also like an overpowered feature they should have stuck to certain characters. What is cool about this character system is play the game on hard, because like all the previous games, the game's ridiculously easy otherwise, and play it with permadeath on. And you actually have some sort of tense moments where you're worried because you've got your cool gung fu character who can just kill anyone by getting up to run with a gun and pressing X. And they're surrounded by like 4 guys with shotguns, and you're actually worried because you don't want to lose your cool gung fu character. So it hurts a bit when someone who had unique stats which were useful for a certain thing gets killed off. And, you know, you just can't use them again. You can obviously find a replacement, but, you know, that kind of sucks. It hurts a bit. You kind of like that guy. You'd had him a while, and now he's dead. So, yeah, that is actually a pretty neat system. The only real problem is it's not really all that well sort of balanced. Like I said, some characters are obviously not worth picking up at all. Like, Watch Dogs promotional stuff just continued to emphasise, whoa, you can play as a assassin granny, and it's like, why? You can't run or go into cover. That kind of makes that character pretty useless. Don't recruit them. Recruit someone who can turn invisible, get into cover, and one-hit kill people at close range. So that's kind of my feelings on it. I think the game has some it has some interesting little systems. I think it's something I'd like to see them continue to work on. It's not really ultra competent in any sort of gameplay sense. The melee is bad. It's not Last of Us 1 bad. It's nowhere near Mafia Definitive Edition bad, but it's nowhere close to like Last of Us 2 good, I guess that's what I'd say. It's sort of like this. You know, you have all the moves you'd expect to dodge a grab and a punch, but you can't like grab people and shove them about or anything neat like that. Can't take human shields. It feels really wonky with a lot of the animations not matching up very well. The same can be said for the gunplay, really. Like, headshots are good, but everything else feels just super spongy, where you can blast into someone's feet and they don't really care until you lower their health enough where they die. So yeah, the overall system, same for the stealth really. It's the standard stay out of someone's line of sight shit we've always seen. There's now a new Hitman-esque system where if your character is the right job to enter an area, if you can kind of avoid people by just not staying in their line of sight for too long. It kind of loosens things. But then there's a weird thing where you can't actually go into cover anymore. You can't like make your guy duck down, which, you know, looks odd, but I'm wondering why they don't just let you do that rather than having this weird thing where you have to choose to either have the proper like jump in between cover stealth system or the Hitman-esque avoidance system. I don't know if it's a balance thing, but it feels very weird. So that's Watch Dogs Legion's demo. Surprisingly good main story missions, shitty AI built sort of filler Rage and Crest crap. Surprisingly interesting sort of class system, which maybe does solve a good few of the issues with its sort of that sort of immersive sim genre, where rather than just building an overpowered character, you're constantly switching them out. But once again, some characters are clearly more equal than others. So yeah, good step, I'd say, Ubisoft. I like this one. I'm probably gonna pick it up, but not till the expansion's out. I'll let you guys polish this up before I buy it.